Hello? Is it on? Testing. Hello? Is this thing on? It might be. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Max, it's on. Max, dance for the camera. No. But hello users and welcome to another episode of the Above It All show. We're here today. The Above It All program. This is a program. It's a show. Back from today is April 18 of the United States, and we are here at 10 a.m. doing a show today. So today is April. We are celebrating today, everybody. We are celebrating. I've got one hell of a show for you all today. We are celebrating. But before we get into the celebrations, we got to shit on some Christians. So bear with me here. For I must do what has to be done. So there is a Supreme Court case coming up. Well, it's a case. It's a legal case. And it's coming up on the Supreme Court, and it has to do with religious special treatment, I guess. I'll use the term special treatment for religious people. So check this out. Supreme Court hears Christian postal workers' religious claim. And then we have this photo of this guy, just like, look at this guy. Look how noble he is. Look at him staring off into the distance. Motherfucker looks like the Trinity Killer from Dexter. God damn. The Supreme Court on Tuesday weighs an employment discrimination claim from an evangelical Christian mail carrier in a case that could force employers to do more to accommodate the religious practices of their workers. The justices are hearing oral arguments, oh boy, in an appeal brought by Gerald Groff, who says the U.S. Postal Service could have granted his request that he be spared Sunday shifts based on his religious belief that it is a day of worship and rest. Now, I just want to say this. I fully support people being able to choose their day off. The idea that that is not commonplace in this country, that you can't, like, everyone gets to pick one. Obviously, you know, you have to make it work, you know. But everyone should be allowed to choose their own days off. Now, people might be saying, oh, well, everyone's going to choose the weekends off. I think that's a little weird. For example, I take Wednesdays off when I do this show. I don't do show on Wednesday. So I think if you gave people the opportunity to pick their own days off, you know, as long as, you know, not everyone picks the same day off. And even then, really, what's the problem with that? Just fucking, you can close the goddamn shop. I mean, I guess it's the U.S. Postal Service, but I'm just talking about general employment. But my problem with this is when religious people think they're fucking special. Like, do you think this religious fundamentalist freak schizophrenia patient, do you think this guy supports 4-day work week? Do you think this guy supports people who aren't Christian or even are atheist being able to choose their own day off? It's very interesting because these kinds of cases, just in the way that the case is actually formed, tells you all you need to know about these people. They're making a religious argument. I am being discriminated against because I'm Christian in a country where 70% of people in this country believe in Christianity. So, I mean, like, that's this guy's, like, main character syndrome. But let's keep going. Groff wants the court to make it easier for employees to bring religious claims under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits workplace discrimination on various fronts, including religion. See, here's the thing, is that this is not discrimination. Now, again, I support people being able to choose when, I honestly support people being able to choose their own hours every day. But everyone doesn't have that ability unless you work in, like, you know, a really nice job environment. But the idea that it's discrimination, this is discrimination because the Christian schizophrenia patient can't take Sunday off. That's discrimination? Really? It sounds like equal treatment under the law to me. What if you're not Christian? Or what if you are, but, like, you're not one of those weird freaks? Just kidding, they're all freaks. But is it still religious discrimination? What if it's you ask for Saturday off? Hey, the USPS is open on Saturday, motherfucker. These guys are closed on Sunday. So these motherfuckers are open on Saturday. What if I'm Jewish? What if I'm Muslim and I'm going to take Friday off? Right? The idea that this is religious, like, the U.S. Postal Service is going out of their way to discriminate against this guy because he's Christian. Like, that's the thing, right? So what are these cases on? Legal, you know, lawsuits are, they're always that they have cause or whatever, they've got a claim, right? And you just have to look at the claim sometimes to just notice that this is some stupid ass bullshit. Really? Discrimination? You're going to sue under the discrimination clause? You feel like you're discriminated against because you're Christian in America. This guy's discriminated against as a Christian in America. Okay. Well, let's keep going. Non-career employee Groff worked as an auxiliary mailman in the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area from 2012 to 2019 when he resigned. His job was to fill in when other workers were not available, including on weekends and holidays. So, let me get this straight. He's not actually a member at the USPS. He's like a backup substitute teacher contractor to fill in the gaps. This guy goes out of his way to get a job where in the job description it says, yo, this entire job is you working on weekends and holidays when the main employees take off. That's the entire job. This guy, literally, this is what I talk about when I talk about plants. This guy's a plant. There's no way that this guy is like, oh, I'm going to go work on weekends and holidays. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm religious. You're discriminated against me for asking me to work on weekends and holidays. It's just, God, it's dumb. It's dumb. I mean, these people are dumb. Initially, Groff was not asked to work on Sundays, but the situation changed starting in 2015 because of a requirement that Amazon packages be delivered on that day. By the way, isn't that a little fucked up? If I'm mailing an overnight, like, fucking, I don't know, like, what would I need to be mailing overnight? Like, fucking a birthday card? You gotta sign that shit by Monday? Right? I'm not allowed to get mail delivery. I'm Amazon. I'm a giant corporation. I can force the government to deliver. Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, just think about this. Think about this. You're a corporation. You can force the government to deliver mail on what has been the day off in this country for hundreds of years for the government postal workers. So that's a little strange. Shouldn't you be suing Amazon? I mean, of all people to sue... Amazon seems to be on that list, but hey, whatever. Based on his request for an accommodation, his managers arranged for other postal workers to deliver packages on Sundays until July 2018. After that, Groff faced disciplinary actions if he did not report to work. So they accommodated his mental illness for 4 years-ish. 3 years, I guess. I don't know exactly when in 2015. They accommodated his mental illness for 4, maybe 3 years. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to have you do the job you signed up for. Again, this guy reads a job application, says, we want someone to work on the weekends and on holidays. He works there, says, I don't want to work on the weekend. For 4 years, they're like, all right, this guy's mentally ill, but let's throw him a bone. And then they're like, hey, can you start doing your job? And he's like, no, I'm Christian. I'm being discriminated against. Ah! Right? Help me understand this one. Now, again, I know it's a little early in the day here for us to be shitting all over the Christian faith and the people that believe in it. But again, this is why this country is a joke. Like, when people actually genuinely say shit like, I believe in Jesus. Like, you ever hear someone who, like, They say it, but they're not saying it for you. They're saying it for God in their head, right? When someone's like, yes, I believe that Jesus died for my sins. You ever hear the way these people talk? Like they're talking to the fucking camera, you know, like in a movie, you know, when they break the fourth wall in a movie or a television show. That's how these motherfuckers are talking when they're talking about Jesus dying on the cross for their sins or whatever fucking stupid ass shit. But again, when you actually, and I know this alienates people, I know they get triggered, but cry about it, bitch. You're actually in the majority, so keep fucking whining like a little baby about it. But when you actually pretend that religion, the fundamentals of religion, the mysticism, the mythological part, the spiritual nonsense about the Holy Spirit. Now again, this is why it's just extra dumb, because you can believe in all that without the made up garbage. You can believe that we're all part of a greater human consciousness and we should all be in this together. That's spiritual thinking. But it's not based in Jesus died on the cross for my sins, right? So whenever you pretend that Christianity has any merit, I'm talking about more than 0%. I'm talking about more than negative 50%. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is a net negative on society. So when you are a Christian or pretend that it's reasonable to be a Christian, you are enabling people like this to do a fucking heaping fuckload of stupid garbage. You see all of these religious discrimination cases going through the courts all the time. I'm Christian, I'm being discriminated against. I'm Christian, I'm being discriminated against, right? Religious fundamentalists thrive in an environment that gives them oxygen. What is the oxygen that they are receiving? It's from people pretending that anyone that believes in Jesus could be theoretically a sane person. If you believe in Jesus, that he is a real like a person in your mind or whatever, in this clouds, whatever you believe. Now, if you believe that Jesus ever existed, that's fine. It's possible he existed. I mean, you know, most of the evidence points to he probably didn't exist, but it's theoretically possible somebody named Jesus was walking around in some fashion and may have been killed in some way. Theoretically possible. But if you're adding this extra God stuff to it, you are a dumb person. I really, and I know this alienates people. I know, but it's my show. I'm allowed to say what I think, right? I'm an atheist. I'm an anti-theist. We're not allowed on TV, right? You ask fucking anyone on TV if they're an atheist, right? They're going to be like, oh God, I'm so scared. Oh God, right? Because they're all fucking cucked losers, right? So I'm not allowed to go on TV. I'm not allowed anywhere but the internet. I'm allowed to give my opinion. My opinion is that these fucking religious people, again, pretending that Jesus is real in any fashion enables this kind of fucking crybaby snowflake thinking. This guy signed up for a job. The description was you work on weekends, and cried to the Supreme Court that he's working on weekends. Oh, my religion. So you can read the rest of this if you want. Again, Trinity killer looking motherfucker. That guy was religious too, by the way. Watch Dexter. Anyway, it's just like, this fucking shit, man. It's embarrassing. Like, instead of doing this under like workers' rights, right? Because you could make a workers' rights argument, right? Like, people should be allowed to pick their hours in ways that, you know, aren't necessarily hurtful to the company, right? So, I mean, hey, I also support striking. So if everyone wants to like make it so that they're all taking the same day, whatever. But my point is, I'm down to discuss this in a workers' rights context. But get out of here with this religious discrimination bull fucking shit. This religious fucking discrimination. Really? Really religious fucking discrimination? I fucking wish that Christians were applying for jobs and being denied, saying, oh, sorry, you're Christian, so fuck off. I wish that a Christian would try to do a lawsuit and then the government would say, oof, sorry, we don't allow Christians to sue the government. They're a little unpredictable. You never know what they're going to do. I wish we lived in that world. Now, I'm not saying that because I like discrimination. I'm saying that because I don't think we should have Christians. I'm just, you know, obviously I'm being a little facetious here. But my point is, this guy is living in a fantasy world. He's living in some made-up la-la land where he gets a job that says the whole description is you work on weekends, cries that he's working on weekends, and then says, God will defend me from, like, get the fuck out of here, Jesus Christ. Anyway, exhibit number 75,415 as to why Christians are fucking annoying. So, there you go. Got a show here. Today is April Day. It's April 18. Can you believe that April is already 18? Wow. I mean, Jesus. But anyway, we're doing a show today, and today is the day that we do a show. We do a show on today. We got Tyler in the chat. We got Soul Ife in the chat. We got Ali CIA in the chat. And more. See, here's my problem with the phrase agnostic. Is it doesn't mean anything. It has no actual definition. Right? Agnostic basically just means you're kicking the can. You're not actually engaging with the question. Oh, I'm agnostic. Do you believe God is real? Oh, I'm agnostic. I don't know. Now, it's one thing to say, oh, I'm agnostic, but I don't think that God is real. In order to be agnostic, by the way, agnostic is a qualifier. It's an add-on. You cannot just be agnostic. That's not a thing. I'm agnostic. That's not real. You can be, like, that would imply that, like, you genuinely believe it's a 50-50 chance. You'd have to be exactly in the middle. Otherwise, you're an agnostic atheist, right? Or an agnostic deist. You believe that God probably exists, but you're not sure. Or you believe God probably doesn't exist, but you're not sure. To be an agnostic is neutral, 50-50. God might be real, God might not be real. And when that's your perspective in the world that we live in, I don't know, man. That's a little weird to me. Like, 50-50? Now, again, I'm an agnostic atheist. I think it's possible that a God theoretically could exist. Maybe not a God, but maybe a creator. You know, I'm just ripping on the agnostics here. I'm just having a little fun here. I don't know, man. Just agnostic. When people say, I'm agnostic, like, to me, you're not engaging with the concept enough for me. Now, again, be a deist, that's fine. I think deism is cool. God could exist, but he's not the Christian or Muslim or Jewish God. That's great. I mean, I'm totally down with deism. I find that simulation theory is also deism. It's the same thing. But the idea that 50-50, God could be real, could not be real. Really, it's a flip of a coin. You know, I don't know, man. I don't think it's a flip of a coin. I think you need to flip 89 coins and they all need to land on the side, you know? Like, that's to me. If God is real, that's to me. That's how many coins you need to flip. So I'm an agnostic anti-theist in that one. I don't know. That's just my little pet peeve. Hello, Jay Silva. What's your opinion of the whole tort situation? Now I'm assuming you don't mean tortellini when you say tort. I'm assuming you mean illegal nonsense. But are you talking about what's my opinion on the law and how it functions in general, or like is there like a current like a wave of things that you're referring to? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, let's keep going. Folks, we live in a really interesting country. And now, we being people that live in the United States. The United States is an awful country. That's a fact. Now, I know people are going to get triggered by that. Little snowflakes that are going to be like, oh, I love America, man. I know America, goddamn, son of a goddamn America. Right, so go cry, go write a little fucking whiny little message in the comment section, go fuck yourself, and have a good day. But America is a shit hole country. It's garbage. It's trash. And unless, like, if you can't acknowledge that reality, then you're a fucking moron. Now, a lot of people acknowledge that reality and they propose solutions. Also pretty fucking stupid. We're talking about Republicans. You know, the Make America Great Again. What is that? That's America's garbage now, so let's ban the Mexicans or something. Like, what? That's gonna, what? Okay. But again, there's also Republicans who think America is already great. The Hillary Clinton 2016 slogan. Remember, that was funny. The Hillary 2016 slogan, America's already great. And then you've got the Trump 2020 slogan, keep America great. So, in 4 years' time, the same people that said, America's not great, we gotta make it great again. 4 years later? But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. My point is, we live in a shithole. And so what happens when you live in a shithole is, I was originally going to do these as 3 separate segments, but I got 3 news stories here. They're all pretty much tied together. And I want to make a little bit more of a grand point here. So let's start with this one. Kaylin Gillis. Now, this is from BBC. Sometimes I like reading non-US news when it comes to gun violence because it gives us a little bit more of an objective perspective here. Woman shot dead in New York after friend pulled into wrong driveway. Now, there's a string of these kinds of stories that came out over the last few days. I'm going to be talking about a couple of them, but this is the first one. Woman shot dead after friend pulled into the wrong driveway. Now, I don't know how to drive a car. I've never driven a car, but I've been in cars as other people are driving them. And very frequently, people have driven into a driveway for the purpose of turning around. You know, I remember back before the internet was really as much of a thing. I know I didn't get the internet until a little later than most people. But I remember my mom, when my grandma moved, my mom was trying to find her house. And I remember this time where we'd knock on like 5 doors trying to figure out the right one because it was like, you know, a 1526 or 1562 or, you know, that type situation. And we didn't have the internet to, you know, we couldn't call. I don't know. I was young. But my point is, I have been in a scenario multiple times where I've knocked on the door, not knowing if it's the right door, and sometimes it is. You go into the wrong, you know, it happens. Hey, I've done political canvassing where I knock on doors to ask about their fucking candidates, right? So the idea that pulling into a driveway is a death sentence in the United States of America, like, I mean, that's crazy. That is insane. So let's read some of these details here. And again, she was not even driving. Like, she was just like, her friend was driving. She wasn't even driving. So it's Kaylin Gillis was with 3 other people in New York State on Saturday. They accidentally drove into the driveway of Kevin Monahan in the town of Hebron. Police say as the driver was leaving, Mr. Monahan, 65, allegedly opened fire on the vehicle, hitting Miss Gillis. So they drive into the driveway, presumably check their phone. Oh, fuck, this is the wrong house. They start leaving. They start leaving. They're leaving. They're about to move on with their day and go, like, over auntie fucking shitfuck's house, right? And then this guy's like, I'm gonna kill you! And then starts opening fire, like what? This is a very sad, and again, the woman who was killed wasn't even driving. She was just like, I don't know, she might have been sleeping in the car for all we know. This is a very sad case of some young adults who were looking for a friend's house and ended up in this man's house who decided to come out with a firearm and discharge it. No, he did not decide to come out with a firearm and discharge it. Okay, that's not what happened. Right? This is what I fucking hate cops, man. They say the dumbest ass shit. Who decided there's no decision. There was no decision. This is a zombie. This is what I talk about. In the United States of America, about 80, maybe 90, depending on how you define it, and I'm willing to debate that, % of people in this country are zombies. They're not actually thinking. They're not making decisions. They're not actively engaging with life. They're just passive observers. They're sleepwalking. There's zombies, right? And so when you have zombies that have a bunch of guns, and all they do is surround themselves with, the liberals are gonna get you. The liberals are gonna get you. Get your guns. Get your guns. The liberals are coming for you. They're coming for you. And he's probably doing fucking drugs. He's probably drunk on meth, whatever the fuck, having like some paranoid fucking meltdown. The liberals are gonna get you. Sees like someone who's like, 30, 40 years younger than him. Must be liberal. Go kill him as they're driving away. They're driving away. They're going in the opposite direction. They're driving the fuck away. Like Jesus Christ. So, and also decided to come out with a firearm and discharge it. Like, why can't cops speak like normal people? This stupid fucking prick came out of their house to murder someone who was driving away from them. It's not that hard. Like, you ever think, why do cops speak like this? And then we have the person decided to exit the domicile and made a decision to bring a firearm that was loaded, and unfortunately decided to discharge the firearm. Like, what the fuck are you saying, bro? Speak English. Like, Jesus Christ. My God. So anyway, that's one. I got a couple. I was gonna make these 3 segments, but I'm just doing one of them. This is gonna be a long one, okay? So just bear with me. Check this one out. Walgreens employee claims self-defense in shooting of pregnant woman. Workers say was caught shoplifting. So I've got news for you. Just real quick, let's get this one out of the way. Shoplifting is good. On the morality scale, shoplifting is a morally good act. People should feel encouraged to shoplift. Now, again, obviously you don't want to get caught. A lot of these corporations and so forth, maybe even they, like Walmart famously, they'll track you and they won't even bother doing anything about it unless you hit a certain threshold. So again, understand your thresholds, never hit the same place twice, all that good stuff. But shoplifting, morally good. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, I'm not sure. Anyway. With that being said, let's assume, okay, you're a worker, you see someone shoplift. What do? You do nothing. It's not your concern. Are you the CEO of Walgreens, motherfucker? Are you working in the treasury department of motherfucking Walgreens? Are you cutting the checks? Who the fuck cares? You're a random fucking person stocking shelves in a pharmacy that like -6 people walk into on a daily basis. Who the fuck gives a fuck if someone is fucking shoplifting at motherfucking Walgreens? Can I fucking, like, what the fuck? Talk about mental illnesses. Someone giving a shit if someone's fucking shoplifting at Walgreens. Jesus motherfucking Christ. Now, again, this is an American story where a pregnant person is shot for maybe shoplifting. Now, this one is interesting in the headline here because now, again, on this show, I love to do media criticism. I love to train people in media literacy, and this is one of those like weird ones. Okay, Walgreens employee singular claims self-defense in shooting a pregnant woman. Workers plural say was caught shoplifting. You see what's going on here? So it starts off employee, now workers. Now, there's multiple options. One, I don't know, they asked one other worker and they were like, well, I don't. Or two, the workers or whatever, his co-workers, his friends maybe are backing him up. Saying, yeah, that pregnant bitch deserved it. She was shoplifting. She was getting those goddamn supplements, goddamn. What are they, like... Jesus Christ. All right, but let's keep going. 7 months pregnant, was shot by a Walgreens employee in Nashville, Tennessee this week after he suspected she had stolen cosmetics from the store's pharmacy, police said. Now she and her newborn baby remain hospitalized after undergoing an emergency C-section. Now, note, we don't even actually know if she was shoplifting yet. That has not been verified, okay? That has not been verified. We have seen words like suspected, right? And say, workers say, suspected and say. Now, again, I know this is innocent until proven guilty, so they're pretty much always going to use this kind of language. But, now again, let's assume she was shoplifting. Who fucking cares? Really? You're going to be a child murderer? Talk about late-term abortions, man. My God, right? Jesus. Who's out there actually doing late-term abortions? Motherfucking gun freaks, okay? Anyway. Over fucking shoplifting. But it's America. This is what is a uniquely American disease. Is killing people for the sake of other people's shit. Does anyone remember Kyle Rittenhouse? Remember that whole fucking saga? Republicans are willing to kill people, murder their fellow human beings, to defend other people's shit. Now, again, they're not a security officer. It's not like they're getting paid to do this. It's not like, oh, we're going to kill someone who is shot. Now, again, this person is not dead yet, but if you shoot someone, your goal is to kill them. It doesn't matter. Where you shoot doesn't matter, right? Your goal is to kill them. The intent is there to kill them if you shoot someone. Now, it's not like Walgreens CEO is going to go like, you know, oh, hey, I saw you killed that pregnant woman who stole a fucking, you know, lipstick. Good job. Here's $20. Like, I mean, like, seriously, America, think of another country where average, not like soldiers in the military, not like, we're talking about average, everyday citizens think it's virtuous to murder fellow humans over random other people's property who aren't even involved. I'm talking about, it's Kyle Rittenhouse syndrome. Like, what did Kyle Rittenhouse do? He drove to a city he doesn't live in to defend property he has no stake in, ended up murdering 2 people. This Walgreens employee tries to murder 2 people over like cosmetics. Like, it's America. Now, again, this is what I talk about. This is a shit hole country. The people that live here are garbage. Now, again, that doesn't mean every single, it's not a 100% case here. I'd say 80 to 90% of people in the US, you could throw them in a garbage can and the world would be a better place. Now, I'm not saying that in the sense that I want them to. I'm not advocating for a genocide. I'm just saying these people are fucking useless fucking garbage. We're talking about Republicans. We're talking about the people that do this fucking shit. We're talking about, like, the gun freaks that bring their guns to work at Walgreens. Like, you know, like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Materius Boyd, 21, claims he fired his semi-automatic weapon in self-defense because he was in fear. Because he didn't know if Ferguson and another woman she was with were armed. Okay. So imagine this. You're walking into fucking Walgreens or wherever you're employed. And it's totally normal to bring your semi-automatic. Now, is this a rifle? Is this like a pistol? A semi-automatic pistol? I mean, that's, you know, I mean, look, what kind of gun? It's a semi-automatic. They're just walking into, I'm imagining it's like an AR-15 just for my own entertainment. Like, they're walking into Walgreens with a fucking machine gun strapped on their back like a normal person. That's what normal people do. Well-adjusted members of society. Oh, shit. A pregnant woman? Well, obviously, that's not a baby. She's armed. She's got, like, a fucking nuclear, like, a fucking hydrogen-powered bomb, like, under her shirt. That's not a pregnancy. Let's shoot the bitch. I'm just like, what? Like, it's crazy. Another employee told Boyd 2 women were allegedly shoplifting cosmetics from the store. Police said he began recording the women on his cell phone. Don't they have cameras at Walgreens? Don't they have like a store-wide camera like on the ceiling and shit that tracks you around? But okay, whatever. As they placed items in a shopping cart in a large shoulder bag. I'd like to see this video. Police said, and he later followed the women to the car in the parking lot as they began to place items into the car's trunk. So this guy who brought his fucking rifle to work, whatever it is, walks out into the parking lot and kills people for no reason, or attempts to kill people. He approached the rear of the car. One of the women pulled out a can of mace and sprayed as Boyd started shooting, according to police. Now, again, got news for you. If this happens, record the license plate and report them to the... Now, again, I'm saying ignore it because it's not your problem. But if you are a fucking loser and you love sucking the dick of Walgreens for some fucking reason because you're a goddamn loser, you're a cuck, you're a beta, you're a fucking soulless leech, you're a cocksucker, you're a cockroach, you're a fucking loser, you have no friends, you will never amount to anything, you're a fucking loser, you worship Walgreens, really? Call the cops, report the plates. That's all you need to do. You don't need to walk into the parking lot, threaten them, and shoot them. And again, rightfully, this is what you should do. If you are a woman and some creep is following you, yes, mace is appropriate. I'd say even this, if the woman had a gun and shot this creep freak, that would be appropriate. I mean, let's be honest. Who would you rather get shot in this situation? The guy who is going out of his way to kill people in the name of Walgreens, in the name of makeup at Walgreens, or some woman who's just trying to get some makeup and she's 7 months pregnant? Who is more worthy of being alive on this planet? Right? But hey, it's America. The Nashville district attorney will determine whether Boyd will face charges. This is one of those great countries where it's like we can have someone who admits to murdering someone, right? And then the DA will be like, well, what are you gonna do? I mean, hey. Like, this guy is like, all right, hi, cops. Yes, I killed this person. I shot them for no reason. What would you like to do about it? The DA is like, well, oh boy, gosh. I mean, wow. Oh, he said he killed the person on purpose? Oh, wow, shoot. I don't really know what to do about this whole situation. Like, what? Boyd is no longer employed at Walgreens, the company said in a statement. Oh, really? So it turns out this guy killed a mother. Now, again, I'm using this term kill. I'm using the term murder because that's the intent. You shoot a gun at someone. Your goal is to murder them. If you think that they're going to survive by some act of God or something, that's called schizophrenia. You have a mental illness. Now, of course, not everyone that gets shot actually ends up dying. But when you shoot someone, the percentage chance that they will die is so high that anytime you point the weapon at someone and press the trigger, it is intent to murder. That is why I'm using this term. Now, again, as of this moment, the mother and the child are in like a critical care situation, so it's possible they'll make it, it's possible they'll die. But again, as far as this guy was concerned, he has intent to murder. He pointed his gun and shot with the goal of killing people. And if that wasn't his goal, he is mentally ill and needs to be in a straitjacket. Because if you have a gun and you point a gun at someone and your goal is not to kill them, you should not be around guns. That's not how you practice gun safety. I mean, I don't even know what to say. But also, again, I mean, let's just say you point the gun at them with the safety on. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, wouldn't getting a gun pointed at you, like, scare the shit out of you? Like, I don't even, like, I'm serious. Like, these people are so fucking stupid. I mean, again. But wait. You think, I know, I said I had 3 stories here. This is just turning into, like, one of those, like, downfall of America segments that I do, like, every day. But this one is crazy. I mean, if these two are really making you rethink this whole, ooh, let's move our family to America thing, which, by the way, right? I got another one for you. What we know about the case of a Ralph Yarl, the black teen shot after ringing the wrong doorbell. I know. You can find all kinds of these stories almost every day in the United States. I took a long weekend, so they had a chance to pile up. So we had someone shot for doing a U-turn in a driveway, killed, for being in the passenger while someone else was doing a U-turn in a driveway. Someone else in the hospital, critical care, because they had the audacity to steal lipstick or whatever it was. And then now we have a teenager shot for ringing a doorbell. Yo, I mean, it's America. And again, this is funny to me. And I'm just going to say this. I know this is going to be shock and awe. This is funny to me. Because if I actually read the news like this and were genuinely outraged by it in some way, I would be way more depressed than I am. So this is funny to me. As a coping mechanism, it's funny. Because I recognize America will never change. The people that live in this country, similarly to me, are so jaded that we will never do anything about it. You, listening to this, you will never do anything about it. Now, I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm just saying that's the way it is. It's called an observation of reality. We all see this every day, and we will do nothing about it. But think about this. Before I get into the story, just, again, what would America need to do? Imagine in your head, what would America need to do to stop gun violence? Now, remind yourself that 84% of Americans refused a free vaccine for no reason. There's a vaccine for a deadly disease. It's free, it's safe and effective. 84% of the country ignored it and refused it. Most of the country doesn't wear a mask during a deadly pandemic. Now imagine those same toddlers that are too whiny and too stupid and dumb to wear a mask during an airborne viral disease pandemic. They're going to do what needs to be done to stop gun violence? You really believe that? I mean, hey, I used to be like you. I used to think America would do something about something. I don't believe that anymore. It's called living in America. Americans that are too fucking stupid and lazy to wear a mask during an airborne disease, they're going to do a mass uprising to end gun violence? No. They're going to vote for politicians that end gun violence? No. They're not going to do any of that. They're not going to do any of that. This is who we are. If you live in the U.S., this is who you are. I don't know what to say. So don't fucking walk around standing tall. Look how great I am. I'm against gun violence. Because you're not. None of us are. Because if we were, we would do something about it. Now, again, if you've actually lost someone to gun violence, right? Your kid got killed at Sandy Hook or whatever, you can just take the rest of your life off. Put your fucking feet up on the couch, on the recliner, eat some motherfucking Ben and Jerry's, and try your best to fucking recover with the fucking tragedy you've got. Now, again, a lot of these people, they use this tragedy to spur into action. The action never actually does anything. But I'm just saying this much. Outside of people directly affected by this, what's the rest of our excuse? Think about it. About half of people in the U.S. know someone who's been shot. According to polls, about half. And we're still not doing anything about it because we don't care. We don't care. That's the thing. We don't care. So next time you fucking cry and whine, oh, another innocent child got killed, oh, whatever. Remember this. No one cares. People that are pretending to care don't actually care. This is America. So anyway, I don't want to be too much of a depressing doomer. I'm sorry, but I don't know, man. That's the only way I can cope with this fucking shit. But a black teenager who was shot by a homeowner. You always like, what? A homeowner? Like, a homeowner? How come in door number 1 we got black teenager, door number 2 we got homeowner? Homeowner? Really? What is this? Why? How come? I'm assuming the black teenager has a cell phone. Why don't we call them a phone owner? Like, what is? Why is it Black teenager and homeowner. Why is this the terminology that we're being subjected to here? After ringing the wrong doorbell, is recovering, and charges were filed Monday afternoon against a white man. Oh, now we find out that he's a white man. As calls for justice intensified in Kansas City, Missouri. Ralph Paul Yarl, 16. By the way, that's a cool-ass name. Ralph Paul Yarl. I hope this guy survives just to have a cool-ass name. Was shot just before 10 p.m. Thursday when he went to pick up his younger twin brothers from a friend's home. But Yarl went to 115th Street instead of 115th Terrace. And as we know, in America, a typo is a death sentence. As we know, in the United States, if you forget to dot your I, sorry, you are going to the hospital, because that is what we deal with in America. Oh, that's what we're dealing with. Oh, you went to the wrong street. Sorry. Your life is over. Your life is over. Your life is over. Because a homeowner. Fucking homeowner. Like, yo, who wrote this article, man? Who wrote this fucking article? Do we have an author? Okay, we have Sophia Sami Ali. Yo, who is out here thinking, what word can I use to describe the fucking guy who shot and tried to kill a black teenager? Oh, I know. Homeowner. Yeah, that sums it up. He's a homeowner. Alright, I'm sorry. Well, not for long. I mean, it looks like this lawsuit's probably not going to go so well. So he's not going to be a homeowner for long. Okay. Whoever was inside took a little longer than he anticipated to respond, so he just waited at the door. Merritt told NBC News on Monday, citing a formal statement Yarl gave to law enforcement investigators from his hospital bed Friday. Yo, Americans are so fucking nuts. Americans are so fucking crazy that someone will see a black teenager and think, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Let's go get the guns. A child who just happens to be black, is waiting at my doorstep. What could it be? Oh, I know. They're going to execute me and my family imminently. Honey, go get the fucking assault rifle. Like, imagine. Like, I'm just serious. Imagine this. Like, imagine you look through the fucking, like, little glass in their fucking door, or whatever it is. You look through the window. You're a homeowner, man. Like, you got windows, you got a door. You look through the little thing, you see a black kid standing, waiting for you to answer the door. And your first thought is, let me go get my gun and kill this motherfucker. Like, I'm serious, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't even, like, I'm just like, like, how? A child is outside of my house. Surely they're here to murder me and kill me. So, and my family. And probably rape my entire family and kill them. And then rape them again and then kill them. And then go and look at my family photo album and track down my whole family and rape and kill them. Clearly, right? That's the only option. So, honey, go get the shotgun and we're gonna kill this guy. Like, I'm just like, I'm trying to fucking figure this out here. Like, what was this homeowner thinking? Does anyone know what this homeowner was thinking? Let's keep going. Jesus fuck. He heard rustling around going on in the house, and then finally the door was open, and he was confronted by a man who told him, "Don't come back around here." And then he immediately fired his weapon. Like, that's your one-liner? What are you, fucking Sylvester Stallone? What are you, fucking goddamn Clint Eastwood? But, like, is that the best you got? Your action movie one-liner? Don't come back around here! Like, what the fuck? Who are these people? Who are these people? Like, I'm serious here. Like, what the fuck? Like, how does... And we let these people have guns? Think about the U.S. A lot of people love to say this. The U.S. has the most guns in the world. We have more guns than people. It's true. But you know what else we have? The highest percentage statistic in the world? Mentally unstable fucking nuts. That's what we got in this country. We got the most guns in the world and the most crazy people in the world. Like, I'm serious. Like, I know this is hilarious to me, and I'm sorry. So this homeowner sees a kid knock on the door, and their first thought is, Betsy, go get the gun. They open the door. Don't come back around here. Like, who says that? Fucking says. I'm serious. Like, it's insane. I don't know what else to say. Like, this is a fucked up country. Okay. The teen was shot in the head, which this guy was shot in the head and is still fucking alive. I mean, that talk about resiliency. Which cracked his skull and left him with a critical traumatic brain injury, Merritt said. While the teenager was still on the ground, the homeowner opened fire a second time, striking Earl in the upper arm. Yo. This fucking shit, man. I'm going to lose my shit if I read this fucking word one more time. If I read the word homeowner one more time, I'm going to march on down to NBCnews.com headquarters and figure out what the fuck is going on. Okay. Possible synonyms to explore. The psychopath. Escape convict. Guy who should probably be in a straitjacket. These are all words you can use instead of homeowner. Think about it. The guy who should be in a straitjacket opened fire a second time. Sounds natural, doesn't it? Sounds a lot more natural than the homeowner. Like, is this stuff we use in casual conversation? Do you think fucking people that work at NBC News are going like, yeah, I went over to my friend's house the other day. You know, they're a homeowner. Like, what? Like, who the fuck says this shit? Homeowner. Look at that. Oh, yeah. And then approximately 6 minutes later, the homeowner opened for the homeowner. Yo. Okay. So this kid was shot in the head and shot in the arm while on the ground. Somehow still alive. Like, how the fuck did this homeowner not kill him right there and then? Jarl went to 3 houses before someone finally helped him. His aunt. So this guy, this kid, was shot in the fucking head. While they're on the ground bleeding to death, they were shot in the arm. Well, this guy is using like fucking like wild western fucking one-liner. Don't come back around here. Watching this child bleed to death, this kid, hero by the way, gets up. 3 houses. 3 houses. Now, it's possible the first 2, no one's home. But imagine a world where those other 2 homeowners are looking through the peephole or whatever, and they see this bleeding to death child, and they're going like, let's not deal with this one. Like, now, again, it's totally possible the first 2 houses, no one was home, no one's up. But I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck? Jesus. That's crazy shit. Late Monday afternoon, Andrew Lester, 85, who is white? Is this the homeowner? Is this the homeowner? We finally get a name for this homeowner? Like, this poor child's name is in the fucking headline. In the fucking headline, we know this poor child's name. And all we have until like fucking 8 paragraphs in, 20 paragraphs in is homeowner this, homeowner that, homeowner, a homeowner, a homeowner, a very concerned homeowner, a homeowner, a homeowner. Now, is this his name, Andrew Lester? We finally get the fucking name? Jesus Christ. Jesus. I thought his name was Home J Owner. That's what it sounded like to me. I mean, the way they talk about this guy, Jesus Christ. Well, no, it's Andrew Lester. God damn. Fucking stand your ground law. You know, we live in such a stupid country where the people ostensibly that are in positions of authority have to tell us, well, we don't... This is like the DA doesn't know if they're going to charge the Walgreens guy. Well, I don't really know. The police chief, here's a story. Oh, some guy shot a kid in the head and then shot them on the ground as they were bleeding to death. I don't really know if we can press charges. Oh! Did you hear that story about the homeowner shooting a kid in the head? Stand your ground. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. So you can read the rest of this. Little is known about Lester. Phone calls to the address where Jarl was shot went unanswered on Monday. Police have not yet said what time the suspect was taken into custody. Blah, blah, blah. Under Missouri law, a vast majority of felony suspects are released after 24 hours, but many are rearrested once enough entry. Blah, blah, blah. So, cool stuff. Anyway, so I just wanted to share this with you. In summary, the United States is a garbage country. No one gives a fuck about gun violence. No one. No one. I don't know. Like, okay, so I'm 26, right? So I'm imagining, like, you know, people that are 80, 90, 60, you know. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Maybe 40, 50, I don't know. But I imagine worlds at this current moment in my youth in a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year time span. I'm thinking, like, what's the world going to be like in 30 years? I'm going to be 50 fucking something years old. What's the world going to be like? And then I'm thinking to myself, well, the world's pretty bad as it is. That's the first data point. It's really bad. We can extrapolate based on 5 years ago. Now, was it better 5 years ago? Hard to say. I'm going to say yes. And I'm willing to debate it. I'm willing to be convinced otherwise. But I'm going to say yes, it was better 5 years ago. So I think about this. How heavily are we decelerating, or rather accelerating the downfall? Right? Is anyone going to do anything about it? I believe no. So we're getting worse, and it's getting worse how much we're getting worse. No one is going to do anything about it. What is the end here? Where does this whole story end? I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, this is a news show, so there you go, folks. It's a death sentence to ring doorbells. It's a death sentence to drive into a driveway and then turn around. And it is a death sentence to steal some makeup. And that is the United States. And no one cares. I mean, like, again, I don't want to be too flippant. I don't want to seem like, I'm above it all or anything. But obviously, people care in a cognitive, logical fashion. But I am a person who firmly believes that actions speak louder than words, and actions express priorities. So when you say, man, I really shouldn't have that donut, man, I really shouldn't have that donut, donuts are bad for me, and then you pick up the donut, what am I supposed to think? That's America on guns. Constantly say, guns are bad, gun violence is bad, we need gun control, and then they don't do anything. So, I don't know, man. But anyway, subscribe, like, and follow me on America. So, there you go. Tyler posted something that I want to touch on. Tyler Hackner says, I'm honestly tired of being told what I already know, including from lefty shows like this. Yes, life sucks. Nobody within any position of power will do anything. That's true. But can we at least try to better our own lives? Now, I will say this. I have my personal, the way I view this show and how I motivate myself to get out of bed in the morning is I have made a very distinct pivot. I no longer care about the news. I no longer care about politics in the sense of I don't want to make politics better. I don't care about electoralism. I don't care about voting. Now, again, I'm still going to vote. My overall ideology is still the same. It's just, where do I want to plant my focus? I mean, there's plenty of people that cover news shows and then talk about, God, this is why we gotta vote for demon rats. You know, like, you ever see these fucking shows? This is why you vote for Democrats, and then they don't fucking do anything, right? But one thing I do want to do on my show is I want people to improve their lives. My personal opinion is every single time you invest in yourself, not others. There are a lot of people that they bend over backwards to make other people happy. And that's great. And we need people like that. But I firmly believe in putting your oxygen mask on before you put it on your child, you know, when the airplane's crashing. Because that's going to make a big difference when you crash into a fucking volcano. But this whole thing about, like, worrying about politics and elections. Now, again, we got to worry about it. We got to do all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying we don't. But the focus that it gets, right, I think is disproportionate. And I also believe it creates a sense of negligence. In short, I think people need to work on themselves at all times. You know, people get caught in news politics on the internet, and that's a cycle that you can get stuck in for years. Right? You can get stuck in this cycle for years where you're just reading the news every day. It's all shit. It makes you depressed. And then you get angry. Maybe you go to a protest and then nothing happens. You get depressed again. You read the news. And this is a cycle that I believe personally 99%, maybe 100% of content creators, people in my position, maybe other shows that you're watching that are more popular. I would say the more popular people are, the less likely they are to be on top of their own psyche, their own mental health, right? That's my opinion. Now, again, there are exceptions, but I think generally speaking, the more involved you are with the internet, the less likely you are to have a whole, you know, a solid, and I'm not even just saying that from a content creator standpoint. Again, the more you use the internet as a consumer as well, fucks your brain up. Let's just be honest. It fucks your brain up. So you got to come up with ways to unfuck your brain. But think about it this way, right? It's a double-edged sword. Reading the news every day, the cope, there is information. I'm reading information. Wow, that's great. I love information. I love to be informed. But think about it in the term diminishing returns, right? Diminishing returns. Now, if you've heard this phrase before, you know what it means, but if you don't, it's if you do something, maybe the 15th time you do it, you get less. So let's say we're mining for gold. And we got this fucking killer vein, all right? We're like, yeah, we're getting gold nuggets. We got this, like, big-ass, like, fish size. We got a little bass size gold rock, right? We're doing great. But then it turns out every time we use the pickaxe on the bullshit and knock some fucking rocks away, we're getting less gold. Diminishing returns. So when you read the news every day, right, there's a certain point where you are no longer learning anything. Now, again, there's exceptions to this, right? Maybe you're someone who is, your specialty is you read every single Supreme Court case, whatever. Like, you just read them all. That's your specialty. You're a law buff. That's your thing. Boom. Right? That's good. But if you are not someone who has a specialized interest in the news, you are very quickly going to find yourself reading the news all day, getting depressed, maybe doing something about it, but unplanned. Maybe you're going to cry on social media, which, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. Maybe you're going to go to a protest. Maybe you're going to call your congressperson. That's all stuff maybe you should be doing. But it's not going to be targeted. It's not going to be well thought out. It's going to be a reaction, right? And you're not going to end up doing anything. And then you're going to be right back in the same position. Oh, fuck. We're back at ground zero. Let's read the news. And then it's just a doom cycle. And so, you know, I view it like, what is the most important thing I can do from my position of having 40 people that watch my show every day for some fucking reason? I don't know. The way I see it, I can either be a little bit more funny than most people. I can have a humor perspective that a lot of people don't. I personally think that gun violence is funny. I think it's funny to watch Americans kill each other for no reason. Maybe you can say it's callous. You're probably right. I think it's funny. It's also an angle you're not going to see on many other shows. Like, think about it this way. Most other shows, when they cover this stuff, it's going to be like, oh, this is so sad. Got to vote for Democrats. NRA. And they're just going to be angry. I say this, fuck it. Let's come up with something different. Now, the other thing I think of when it's like, what do I have to provide? What can I offer an audience? I think I like to provide a little bit of a dose of change. I think people that when they watch my show, I like to be able to spin them in a different direction than they were maybe already predisposed to. But a lot of news shows, think about it. You watch a news show. Do you learn something? Not really. Really, most of the time when you watch a news show, the best thing you're going to learn is like a talking point, like a rhetorical way of arguing about something. But does that argument that you're ever theoretically future going to have, like, even going to amount to anything? Probably not, right? But again, I don't know, man. I like to make people think a little bit. But back on the subject of bettering yourself, I really do think that people need to be aware of how they consume the news. Think of it like a drug, right? Like, think of it like coffee, right? Like, look at coffee. I like coffee. I drink coffee every day. Coffee has pros and cons. It helps me work more effectively. It helps me wake up sooner. Or does it? I mean, I don't know. It kind of creates the problem. But hey, whatever. But, you know, sometimes you drink too much and you feel like you're going to have a heart attack. You know, you don't want to end up like fucking like Dave Grohl going to the hospital from drinking fucking too many fucking coffee cups, right? So, you know, that's how I view the news. I think people, they need to consume less content, and the content that they should be consuming, I think, should be more meaningful. And I also think people should be working on themselves, you know, and that's something, you know, I struggle with. I struggle with working on myself. I often find myself depressed laying in bed all day. And, you know, it's difficult to go for a walk sometimes for me. You know, it's difficult to stay on top of healthy eating for me sometimes, right? But it's all about if you can get that 51% point, if at least 51% of the time you're gaining something positive, then it's a net positive and you can run with that. And I think a lot of people in this space, in the online news space, have been here for a while now. I think most people here are on autopilot. I genuinely do. And the way that they consume content on the internet. Now, I use the term American zombie a lot. I love calling people zombies. But I think a lot of people, even great people, even intelligent people, myself included, sometimes, you know, it's fucking, we've been on the internet for 3 hours. What have we been doing? I don't know. We've been scrolling through Twitter, watching pointless videos. You know, just be more aware. And if that means stopping your viewing of my show, if that's what that means, then fuck it. If for whatever reason the calculation is that if you stopped watching me your life improves, that's a win. I take it as a win. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is I find that so many left-wing shows, they talk about problems in a grand sense. We need to elect more X. We need to march Y. But it's something that people can't do by themselves. And so it puts people in a position where they're constantly begging for change to happen, but no one's going to be the one to do it. And they're just sitting around and rotting away. And that's why I say a lot of stuff on my show, like healthy eating, I think is important. Think about it this way. if you are not capable of running away from a bunch of riot cops, right? Like, let's imagine this, right? Right? You're someone who's like, oh, I'm going to go out and protest. Are you? Are you? Can you run away from cops? Now, sometimes even the best runners get caught. It happens. But think about it. Really? You're going to run away from the police at a protest? I'm just like, a lot of people, they talk a lot, you know, but you gotta put yourself in a position where you're able to do this thing. And until that point happens, until you're able to do the thing that you're begging for, just begging for it's not going to help you out. It's not going to make your life any better. And so, yeah, I find that most left-wing shows, they just talk about, like, oh, we got to elect politicians and the world will be saved. And maybe it would be, but we're not going to elect those politicians. It's just not going to happen. So either we can be in this essential, existential fucking doom spiral where we circle the drain, the toilet bowl of, like, you know, here's how Bernie can still win. You know, that mindset, you know, it's a meme. I don't know if people are familiar with it, but the mindset, here's how Bernie can still win. But just instead of Bernie, it's like, oh, we can turn back the doomsday clock of America. Like, America's not going to collapse, and here's how. We're going to collapse. The only question are, when is it going to happen, and where are you going to be when it happens? Those are the questions. But here's how Bernie can still win. Here's how America can still save itself. That kind of thinking, to me, I'm post that thinking. So that's my take on bettering yourself. I think you should only focus on yourself. And if you do now, I'm not saying that to be, you know, I'm saying if you put 100% or like 80, whatever the amount of spare energy you have, like you got your job, let's say you got a family, you're raising kids, whatever it is. You take whatever spare energy you have left after all of that, after all your responsibilities, and you invest it in yourself, right? Instead of watching stupid shows like this or whatever news shows you're watching, fucking watch a documentary. Like, you know, listen to a fucking goddamn, like, college lecture. They upload that shit to YouTube. You ever watch professors ramble about it? Even if you disagree, just like, you know, it's stimulating. Like, listen to something stimulating. Read some books on subjects that you don't know anything about. Practice cooking. Practice, you know, doing. If you invest all of your spare time in yourself, that's the thing. It's going to help everyone around you, right? If you are better at just being a human, you're going to raise your kids a little better. You're going to be more mindful about how you raise your kids. You're going to be more mindful about how you interact with people at your in place of employment, or, like, you know, your friend groups or your social circles, your family. If you work on yourself, you're going to be a boon to everyone else around you, and then maybe you can put them in that direction. That's how you spur change, in my opinion. In my opinion. You spur change by bettering yourself and being a good example for people around you. That's my opinion. I don't think talking about elections and electing Democrats is going to change the world. I don't think that's going to better anybody. I really don't. And I know I'm not trying to paint every leftist show with a broad brush here. I'm just talking about myself here. I haven't really watched many leftist content stuff in a while. I watch a little bit here and there, but I try to, like, keep it to, like, maybe an hour or two a day of watching news clips, because I like to stay a little bit up to date on the contemporaneous YouTube culture a little bit, because it is technically my current career choice. But anyway, there's a 30-minute QCock. But there you go. Oh, anyway. Donald Trump and his super PAC have posted a banger, folks. Let's watch.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding. DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements. Like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age. Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Ron.
Yo. Now, this came out a couple days ago. I think this came out the day I started my long weekend, so I'm a little late on this one. But man, oh man, this is like, let's just get the best. Yo, I saw this shit, man. I was high as fuck. So I had a long weekend the other day, and including up until yesterday. And day one of my long weekend, I got mega fucked up. I was, I ingested large amounts of edibles. I saw this shit, and I died. I went to heaven, and I came back just so I could spread the word about how great this fucking... Yo, okay. Now, the more interesting thing on this one is that Donald Trump is talking policy. Like, this is like the first time Donald Trump has spoken about policy in his campaign, right? So not only is it hilarious in every aspect, but it's policy-wise, it's a little poignant. Let's watch it again. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's 30 seconds. This is like a great song. You just get to watch it on loop. Let's watch it again.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking...
Yo, the sounds.
And we're not belong. And
the sounds. Can you hear this? Listen. Just open your ears.
Where they don't belong.
Oh, why is that? That's not what it sounds like. That's not what pudding sounds like.
Don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding. DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements. Like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age.
Oh, God.
Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding.
Yo, the way we got like a doily, like, okay, so we like this, like the scene. Look at the scene. Look at the scene. We got this fancy ass, like, fucking 16th century chair and table with like a fucking doily that looks like it's out of the fucking Queen's Castle in 1716 with a fucking pudding cup. Pudding cup. Yo! I can't with this scene. And the way this guy sits down. Like, look at the way this guy sits down. Like, he like the way he sits down is like, you know the term man-spreading? Has anyone heard this term? I think it's really funny. And also, I don't mind if a man spreads. Let me get a good view. With all that in mind, look at this man-spreading motherfucker.
His fingers where they don't...
Okay, all right, from the top.
Ron DeSantis loves sticking his fingers where they don't belong. And we're not just talking about pudding. DeSantis has his dirty fingers all over senior entitlements. Like cutting Medicare, slashing Social Security, even raising our retirement age. Tell Ron DeSantis to keep his pudding fingers off our money. Oh, and somebody get this man a spoon.
Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Ron DeSantis.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, this shit speaks for itself. I really don't need to provide any additional commentary. I mean, Max, what do you have to say? I don't know if you can see this, but he's... Max, what are you doing? Max is like, you gotta fucking finish the show. I gotta go pee. Look at this guy. You see this guy? Max, you gotta go pee? Alright. Well. Anyway, man. I'm going to enjoy this Republican primary. If this is the level of, the level we're getting to this early, I am all in. So, shout outs to Donald Trump. That's the best political advertisement I have ever seen in my entire life. Holy fuck. Wow. That's my commentary. Oh, my lord. Jesus fuck. Oh, God. It's so good. But anyway, y'all. That's my show for today. I really do, hope people enjoyed the show. I guess. I mean, theoretically. I hope people enjoy things in a theoretical way. I don't know. Is that okay? Is that alright? I think I'm done for today. I think I'm done. I don't know if I have anything else yet. Anyway, is that, looks like I gotta get going here, you know, folks, I should say this. Should I say this? Am I allowed to say this? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Yo, Real On, thank you for the memberships. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Now, it's possible. I'll say this much. It's possible that I will get fucked over. It's happened before. And it hasn't happened in a while, so it's bound to happen again. At any point in the future. But it is possible that this will not end up happening. But as of this moment, it is theoretically possible I will be appearing on a program that's not this one in the future, in the next week or so. I don't know how many weeks, 1, maybe 2. I will be appearing on another program. Now again, it's totally possible that it will not happen. I mean, needless to say, I've been booked on many programs and I've been rescinded very shortly before they actually happen. So it's possible that that will happen again. Who knows? But I am booked as of this moment, theoretically, according to my understanding of the universe, unless I've been lied to in some Machiavellian fashion. I've been booked on a program, so that's all I will say for now. And we'll see if it ends up happening. But I've been booked. I've been penciled in. Got penciled in, and I got booked. Can you believe it? They did both. But that's it. That's my show. Thank you for the memberships, Reelon. I appreciate it. And that's all I got. I mean, I have nothing else here. So, thank you all for watching. I will see you later. And that's it. That's it. That's it.
Oh.